Today, I will be teaching you how to set your own MLB win totals, and also I will pretty much give you the groundwork for the beginning of your own MLB model that you can use daily and set your own lines. This is a very basic overview of modeling, and it's a very beginner's course, but I'm pretty much making it for someone like myself a few years ago before I got into modeling and didn't know where to start or whatnot. This is great. I hope to be and like to think is a great starting point. And the best part is that it's going to cost you $0. All of the data used is available. It's on Fangraphs and it's free. And you don't need Excel. You don't need any crazy skills. Pretty much just have to watch this video, and I'm going to show you the whole thing. And I'm Luciano Syndicate. You can find me on Twitter at Luciano Syndicate minus the E. So LucianoSyndicat. I think I got that right. But you can find my Twitter in the bio, the description of this video. But yeah, so let's get started. As you can see, I'm on a blank Google sheet, and that's where you should start. Google Sheets is available for pretty much every person. I think anybody can use Google Sheets. It's awesome, and has some great capabilities, and it's pretty much like a free Excel. So we'll start on Google Sheets, and then we need to get a baseline for the 2020 team that is going to be on the field for said team. We're going to break down every single team here. But to get a baseline, you're going to go over to Fangraphs. You're going to go to standings. You can press 2020 projected standings. And then right here, you can see my cursor over it. You're going to go to base runs. I may have missed it there. Yeah, so you're going to go to base runs. So as you can see here, this is the 2019 results. Now base runs, I'm not going to spend too much time explaining it. You can find base runs, the definition and whatnot on Google if you would please, but it's pretty much a more accurate way to look at a team's actual performance. It takes out cluster luck and whatnot, but I mean, you're not here today to listen to me discuss base runs. So we're going to copy this. So just pretty much copy it. And we're going to go, and then we're going to paste it. We're on base runs. And the only two numbers that we need are the ones in the R and S columns. So, and then obviously we need A because it's it's the team. But so we're just gonna get rid of everything else. We're gonna get rid of everything else. Delete columns B through Q. There we go. And you know what? We'll add another column just so we know. Runs scored, runs allowed. This is based off 2019 data. Of course, this is on a per game basis. So, because we're playing 60 games this year, we're going to take that number. I started off by hitting the equals button on my keyboard to start an equation on Google Sheets. So then I take B2 and I use the star sign as multiplication. I'm going to times it by 60. And then, see this, we're going to drag it all the way down for every single team. Then we'll go to runs allowed. So it's C2 times 60. We drag it all the way down. From there, we get it runs allowed on a 60-game basis based upon the performance of every single team in the MLB last year, based on base runs. Now comes the tricky part. Not really tricky, I shouldn't say that. That would discourage some people. But this part is when we get a little bit more into players. It's not just based on teams, of course, it's based on players. You're going to go back to Fangraphs, as you can see on my screen right now. And then you're going to go to projections. Or actually, never mind. You're going to go to leaders. And you're going to go to batting 2019. Then once you get to batting 2019, you're going to go to team stats. So here, as you can see, this is the team stats for the 2019 season batting. From there, you're going to see, you may see it right above where my cursor is, this little button, export data. Let's press it and it will download. We're going to go back to MLB, I named it MLB win totals. We're going to go back to our Google Sheet. Now, as you can see down here, and maybe down in the bottom of where you keep your downloads, whatever you do on your computer. Now you're going to go to open, and I'm just going to drag it. So like, bring that file, put it in. It's going to open up another Google Sheet. Now, that's fine. You're going to Command A or Control A, then copy this sheet. Then go back to where we were, paste. The only thing we were looking for here is column A and column T. And delete all the rest of those columns. And then this is the WAR, so wins above replacement for every single team in the MLB last year, and they're on offense. Now, just to show you, I've checked my math. Thanks, of course, their WARs based upon 162 games played in the regular season. Now, in this season, we're only going to have 60. So 60 divided by 162 is 0.37037, on and on and on and on. So they're playing 37% of the season, pretty much, this season. Unless there's implications with Corona, you can't predict these things. So we're going to take their 162 WAR number, and then we're going to multiply it by that 0.37037 number. Now that number, of course, is 37%, 0.037%. And if you multiply it by that number, by 0.37037, you get 37% of this number. We're going to drag this down. Actually, we're not. Change it just to 0.037. I just put times 0.37037 instead of multiplying it by D1, just for so it wouldn't change when I drag it down. So now we have an accurate representation of an MLB team's 2019 on offense and on a 37.037% scale. Now, the cool thing is it's very easy to just go back to fan graphs and do the same for pitching. And we're going to go back to pitching. Here we are. We're going to export data. Same thing we did. Same little button up there. I'm going to export data. We're going to go to File. We're going to go to Open. We're going to drag that over. We're doing the same thing. Sorry about my computer, folks. If I don't know if you hear it, it's kind of the fans going on it, but I apologize for that. Now we're going to copy our pitchers. We're going to go to 2019 pitching on the bottom. I mean, you can call these tabs anything you want. That's up to you. I just call them that. So I know what I'd be talking about on here. Then we're going to get rid of everything except for WAR. And now, like we just did, we're going to get 37%, right around 37% of each team's pitching output. Oops. Drag that down. And now we have an accurate representation of the 2019, both batting and pitching. Now, you may be wondering, what about fielding? The fielding statistics are within each player's WAR, so they're factored into the batting. So don't worry about fielding. That may be something that you test out with later down the line, but don't worry about it right now. You don't want to make things too complicated. So now that we have our 2019, we're going to get our 2020 projections. Now, just go back to fan graphs. I'm going to get rid of the other leaderboards we had up here. We're going back to fan graphs, and fan graphs is awesome because it's free. I mean, you can sign up for the membership, but they're going to give you everything for free pretty much. I'm sure they have premium features, but all right, so you're going to go back to the standings page, go to 2020 projected standings. Take us to this one. Just wanted to show you guys where I was. You're going to go to depth charts. Now, as you can see on the right side of the page, there's this. I'm just going past it. And we're going to copy this whole thing. This is when it becomes pretty apparent how simple this kind of is. I mean, again, I just wanted to just remind everybody, I'm sure there's people watching who have a little bit more of a, how do I say it, expertise in this. This is very beginning, beginners stuff, and I would share it, and I hope you guys appreciate it. But you know, you're not going to get rich off this system, but this is a really great start for your modeling career if you're interested in this. I mean, so we copy and paste those numbers. We'll just label them so we know what's going on here. Pitching. Don't worry about the total. it'll be used a little bit differently, but you don't really need that column. But now we're going to go to win totals. All right, so you can just go to base runs, uh, and then command copy all of the MLB teams. And we're going to paste it. And then I just paste values only. It won't make a difference. The only reason I do that is so if when your cursor goes over a name, a link doesn't pop up. But from there, we're going to do a little index matching. Now, please keep an eye on how I do this. We press equals, then we go index. What we're looking for right now is the team's base runs from the 2019 season runs scored. So we're looking base runs D through D. We're matching it to this column. And then that match will be found within the A column on the base runs tab. Then at the end, we put a 0. I'm not 100% sure why, as you can see. And then you scroll this down. 2019 base runs scored. And we're going to do the same. I just copied the formula. Only thing we need to change is 2019 base runs allowed. And we're just going to scroll this down. 2019 batter war. You may be thinking, oh, why don't you just copy and paste from the other page? No, that's fine. That's a good point, but it will make sense in a second. I could have, but I just wanted to show you how indexing works. We're going to do the same here. To index, looking for batters war. Now, we remember we took 37% number of the 2019 results that we got from Fangraph. That's the number we're looking for, and we're looking to match it for the Dodgers and within the 2019, and then within the Dodgers, the formula will look for Dodgers within the A column in this formula. As you can see here, it pops up. So just to double check to show you, I mean, it's 12.88 and then it's here. So as you can see here, goes down. And we're going to do the same for 2019 pitcher war index. Explanations I have of the index formula probably isn't great, but if you just copy what I'm doing, it'll make sense. I'm going to index 2019 pitching, their war, match it to Dodgers, and they will find Dodgers within the A column on pitching, put 0 at the end, put it all the way down. Now we're going to do it for 2020 projections. Index. Go to, sorry, I had a brain freeze there for a second. We're indexing B. We're matching for Dodgers. Matching the A column. Down. You can double check everything makes sense, but it should. And then we do the same. For pitching. And instead of B, we're going to do C due to the pitching being in the C column. All right, so now we have everything, which is great. Now it's time to compare, and we'll show you. We'll start to see if teams will improve, or get worse. Now again, this isn't perfect science. This is an incomplete science that you're not going to predict the exact win totals of every single team this year based on this. But again, it's a good starting point. Now, we want to compare the 2020 projected WAR for the Dodgers. Compare that to their batting WAR. As we can see, they are down negative 0.88 WAR. Now, from there, we can then multiply this number by 10 because we know, and this is another thing you can research along with base runs, 1 WAR equals 10 runs. So it's not exactly 10, it's like something like 9.89 or something, but we'll just use 10 for the time being. So from here, we can project that based upon comparing the 2020 Dodgers WAR from the offensive WAR, we can compare it to their 2019 results. We can project that they'll score 8 less runs. Now, of course, from there, you know how many runs they scored last year based upon their base runs. We're going to add that to this number, and that will be our projections for runs scored for that team. Now, we can do that for everything. And every team. Then we should label our columns up top. 20 minus 19, or 19, or 20 minus 19, B, 20. Scored. Now we'll do the same for pitching. Now you may, obviously with pitching, you still do want a higher WAR. Like the best pitchers have the highest WAR. So there'll be like a little change in the formula you'll see, but you don't want a lower WAR for pitching. I know it's not like the ERA. You don't want the lowest WAR. That would mean you probably have the highest ERA. And then we go from WAR, or pitcher WAR, 2020, subtract it from our 2019. Then we are going to multiply that number by negative 10 instead of 10. Because Obviously, we can see here we're expecting to have 1.5 less WAR from the Dodgers pitchers this year, starting in relief pitching. And from there, if we multiply it by 10, I would say give us 15. And or negative 15, that would be minus 15 runs. Obviously, that's not what our numbers are saying. We're saying they're going to give up 15 more runs, not give up 15 less. So, and we take our 2019 base runs allowed, add it to what we believe they will allow differently from the team from last year compared to this one, and we'll get that number. 2020 projected runs allowed. Now this is where the fun starts to happen. So you may have heard before, you've seen Moneyball or whatnot, of Pythagorean theorem. You might as well just and with Pythagorean theorem, so MLB has a pretty good definition of it. Again, this is very basic. Pythagorean winning percentage. We're talking very basic here. You know, this is very basic stuff, but it's basically a formula developed by the renowned statistician Bill James, and strives to determine the number of games that a team should have won. Based on its total number of runs scored versus its number of runs allowed. The formula is runs scored to the second power over runs scored to the second power plus runs allowed to the second power. They found, as it shows here, that 1.83 as an exponent choice is a lot better. So that's the one we're going to be using. I'll show you the formula. It's very simple to run in Excel, or sorry, not Excel, in Google Sheets. There. So let's remember, we do equals sign. And forget how many. So let's do run scored to the 1.8 third over. I don't remember to do two of these brackets. Let's remember it's runs scored plus runs allowed on the bottom. So again, we're going to do runs scored to the 1.8 third power. We're doing that again, but with runs allowed to the 1.8 third power. And then we can see our projected win percentage. For the Dodgers, at 63%. Times that by 60, and you'll get 37.97 wins. And we're going to do that for all of them. And you find, like, we'll just go to Bet Online. We'll just go to baseball. MLB team wins. Los Angeles Dodgers. Where are they? 37.5. with a little bit more to with a little bit to the juice to the under. And for us, we project there should be a little bit more juice to the over, but I mean you're within 0.476 of it. These are your projected win total. And just to remind you, you get the Pythagorean win percentage, and you just times it by 60 because that's how many games there's going to be. And then from there, you have your win totals, and then or you are just put them all here, and then you can subtract and then see where your edges are. Now, there you have it. You have your own win totals model now. It didn't take that long either. And also, you now have the groundwork for um, potential, potentially how much, potentially for your own MLB model you can use daily. I'll be releasing another video that details all of that in terms of how to make your own daily lines. And you can look for that in the future, but I thought I'd release this about 2 days away from MLB returning. And I'll put some links in the description if you can't find, maybe I'll just share some of the numbers just so we can all, just in case. I know sometimes like base runs goes away on Fangraphs, and if that went away, you wouldn't be able to do this basically. So I'll share that all in the bottom. Follow me on Twitter at Luciano Syndicate minus the E. You can find that link in the bottom in the description. Yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed this. It's very it's an interesting little thing that you can pick up and get going with and spend a little bit of time on, and you know, beats watching Netflix, that's for sure. And so yeah, thank you guys again for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon. Please, you can find me on Twitter. I'll post this on Reddit and whatnot. And so thank you very much.